Well, we won't go through the 3 myths that you talk about in the book. We'll make people buy the book to learn more about that. But all these statements you're making about doctors, it really surprises me that you were able to get Robert Lufkin to write the foreword for Going Menopostal.
Oh, he's fantastic. So I've known him for all these years. It's so funny we both came to this place. But I actually, I should find it in my book. I so admire him because he, was a med school professor. He wrote a book called Lies I Taught in Medical School. Let's see if I can find this. Oh, I'm looking at a screenshot here. Okay, let me find this. I so admire this. Okay, so he said, this is a tweet from Rob Lufkin, a neuroradiologist, USC, UCLA, prestigious schools he taught at. He invented the Lufkin needle for biopsies during MRI scans. He said, I want to also add my apologies to all for the wrong advice I've given over the years when I recommended a low-fat diet and largely ignored the dangers of processed foods and refined carbohydrates. The great thing about science is that with enough evidence, we can change. Oh my God, I have chills. And I tweeted back, props for saying so. This is 2021. And this is the kind of doctor, scientist you want, intellectual humility, willing to admit mistakes. It's just so important. And so that's integrity. And that's the sort of thing, that is missing from a lot of the defensiveness that I see with doctors where, because they're actually just going by practice standards, these guidelines given to them by medical societies or the institution, they're not that able to be nimble and make creative judgments. I don't mean creative, like let's give you, or something, but about, well, okay, what might be causing this problem you have, and how do we treat it? Which brings me, I want to just get into this thing that is another thing I dealt with recently. It's from Randy Nesse, who's at fault. He is the co-founder of evolutionary medicine and a psychiatrist, and he calls the viewing symptoms as disorders error. And this is where doctors, you come in complaining of a symptom and they treat the symptom. Well, that's not okay. If you have a headache, is it because you are stressed out, or do you have a brain tumor? If you have a brain tumor, we don't want to make your headache go away because it's like, turning off the fire alarm, like it's going to put out the fire. It's crazy. And so I went to a dermatologist who tested my ferritin level, and which is a form of iron loosely. Where does it fall? So I'm a little loose in that, but, and then told me I should take slow-fate iron. Well, wait a second. What if I have thyroid issues? What is causing the low ferritin? That needs to be figured out, because if I take that and I could damage my cardiovascular system. This is not okay. This is the most careless medicine, and it's routine. And this is the thing. I wrote this chapter 2 in my book, and this book, even though it's on menopause, there's a lot of stuff in there for guys. I'm not just being a shameless salesperson, but on diet and exercise, on the cardiovascular system, but also Chapter 2 I had to write is called Why You Won't Want to Believe, and Why You Should. Because as I had people read bits of my book, they were determined, they were so horrified at the unscientific medical care they're being given. They wanted to disbelieve. Katie, my old copy editor's wife for years and years at Creative Syndicate, she knows how careful I am on science, but she said, if I believe you, it's terrible. It means I can't trust my doctor. And then where are you? I can read a pile of science and go in and say, okay, we need to change my steroid prescription for my eye treatment to Lotamax from the prednisolone acetate, which has terrible systemic effects, and justify it and everything with good evidence. But most people, people use AI. AI lies. If you don't know medicine, don't ask ChatGPT. It will make stuff up. Make up citations. I had it alphabetized part of my bibliography. It dropped things and then just inserted studies that didn't exist. Mind blowing. So you were asking a question was it about the myths of medical care?